Hi everyone, welcome to Excel Clinic. We made a video about doing bookkeeping using Excel previously. Today, we will be talking about another useful Excel template that you will need if you are using Excel for accounting, the invoice. Before we go into detail, please subscribe to our channel so that you will not miss the next episode. First thing first, what is the information you will need on an invoice? If you are a GST registered entity in Singapore, there are a list of information required on an invoice under the Goods and Services Tax General Regulations. You can refer to the IRAS website for more details and examples. If you are not a GST registered entity, then you have more flexibility. Different jurisdictions has different rules. So if you are watching this from somewhere else in the world, find out the rule first. I will be building a template for a GST registered trader in Singapore which only issue invoices in Sing dollar. We will either convert the invoice into a PDF or print it out on paper. The common paper size in Singapore is A4. We need to ensure that the invoice will fit into A4. Select the paper size and make changes to the margin setting if needed. You will see this dotted grid line. It is the boundary we need to stay within. Your name, address, and registration number. There is a requirement to display tax invoice in a prominent place. Save some rows for the name and address of your customer. Invoice number and the invoice date. Ideally, the invoice number should be in running sequence and the invoice date should be automatically populated when you create an invoice. However, this would require VBA macro. Email me if you need a template with these functions. Then you need a table for the items sold. We need a column for product code so that you can look up later on for the product descriptions and unit price. Adjust the column width, subtotal, tax, and total. If your business is not GST registered, you can skip the subtotal and tax rows. Some messages for the customers. And finally, sign off. We need two databases, one for the customers and one for the products. You need to select a lookup key for customers, something that you will enter in the invoice and allow the invoice to retrieve names, addresses, and person in charge of the customer. You can use a short name, some numbers, or even unique entity numbers for Singapore entities. Convert it to a table for easier referencing later. Change the name of the table to customers. Let me enter the details for some customers. Next is the product list, a lookup key, the product code, product descriptions, and unit price. I'll fast forward a little since it is about the same process. It is the formula and function time. Assuming that I'm selling to RNC, I will enter its UEN in cell B6 and expect the rest of the information to be populated automatically. Equal xlookup. The first argument is B6, then the lookup array. As we converted the data range to a table earlier, we can refer to the array easily. Customers, the name of the table, followed by a square bracket. Pick the column. Then, the third argument, the return array, same thing. The name of the table, followed by a square bracket, and pick the return column. Repeat the same for address and person in charge. Now, move to the items. Same function, xlookup. Column E will be a simple multiplications of quantity and unit price. We have 28 rows here, and I'm very sure that in most cases, not all the rows will be used up. Let me copy the functions to the next row to illustrate. You definitely won't prefer all these errors to show up. So we need an if function. Only if there is something in the product code column, Excel will return a value based on the functions we set earlier. Else, the functions will return a blank cell. Apply the same functions to all the rows. Then, the subtotal is the summations of the rows above. For tax, I will not hardcode the tax rate as we are required to present the tax rate and the tax rate is going to change effective 1st January 2023. So I will write 7% in cell D43. Then cell E43 will be the product of the subtotal and the tax rate. The total will be the summation. Last but not least, apply the formatting. Here you go. If you like a more sophisticated invoice template, drop us an email. Like and share this video with your fellow Excel user. See ya!